Scene 4, the Castle of Inverness. Time has gone by a little bit. This last scene just deals with two individuals, the old man and Ross, who is the Thane, who shows up from time to time at kind of just key moments and has phrases. They have a discussion here about some supernatural things that have happened throughout the night. And usually when things happen bad in these stories, you know, there are other omens and sights that they witnessed or nightmares. See if you can pick out. I believe there are 3 that are pretty prominent that seems a little bit strange for what should really be happening. And then ultimately Macduff talks to Ross to wrap it up, and we get to see kind of Macduff, how he's dealing with this, and we find out what happens with Macbeth. Scene 4, Act 2, Scene 4. The old man and Ross are discussing about some of that supernatural things that happened throughout the night. The first of which is in Ross's line, you know, the purple text, you know, by the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the traveling lamp. Kind of a neat poetic way of saying the sun, the traveling lamp. And yet it's still dark as if it's night, but yet it's day. So that seems kind of weird. Okay, and so all of these things that happen, these omens, make people think that something bad, obviously something happened bad with the king, but you know, maybe there's something more, some subtext to it. The second one you might have overlooked a little bit, but the old man goes, yes, that is unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed. Falcons should not be killed by an owl. Okay, so things are kind of strange here. But then lastly, Ross goes, and Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of the race. You know, the footnote, the best of the breed, the best of the best. They turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind. So they wouldn't listen to any man. 'Tis said they eat each other. They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. So the horses turned wild and started eating each other. Okay, so all 3 things. You know, one thing is weird, but you put all 3 things together, and that's just plain spooky. And the omens of things that, you know, could be bad or could be possibly worse in the near future. So we see Macduff walk out. Macduff and Ross talk. Ross asks, is it known who did this more than bloody deed? Well, those that Macbeth has slain. And so we see it's almost finalized where they know who did it. They know who was responsible for the murders, and it was the guards. Now, I think the mindset of us nowadays, because we expect to be surprised in TV shows or movies, we want to know, well, who paid the guards? Why did the guards do it? Surely, you know, both of them, you know, that if they were upset with their pay or whatever, they could have come about it in a different way. So it must have been, you know, funded by somebody else. But we find out that the 2 kings' sons are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed. Remember, they fled because they were worried about their lives and they were worried that people might accuse them of it. But their fleeing is actually being observed by Macduff as potentially, you know, that they have suspicion upon them. Because remember, who has the most to gain? It was Malcolm. Okay, and so he took off. Ross's line 30 goes, well, then 'tis most like that the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth. Well, then it must be known that Macbeth will probably become king. Well, it's already been established. He is already named, and he's gone to Scone to be invested, to have his coronation. They have a certain ceremony, you know, just like knights have ceremonies where they're knighted, you know, kneel before me, that type of thing. So here he's already been gone, and he's going to be crowned king. Where's Duncan's body? He's off with, you know, predecessors, the other kings. So then Ross asks Macduff, and this is very important, these last couple lines. You know, are you going to go to the party? Are you going to Scone? Are you going to the coronation? No, I'll go to Fife, which that's his title. Remember, the Thane of Fife. So he goes, I'm not going to the coronation, I'm going home. Why? Maybe he's still in shock. Does he think that Macbeth was the killer? No, he said that there was these other people, and he even said the suspicion is even on Malcolm and Donalbain. But yet he's just, I'm not going to go. Something just doesn't sit right. Maybe he's tired. You know, maybe, could there be some jealousy, you think? Why Macbeth? Why not me? Why not Macduff? So maybe there's some petty jealousy back and forth. Ross goes, okay, well, I will hither, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Look what Macduff says. He goes, well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new. So you go and make sure things work out the way they're supposed to. And just in case, our old ruler, the footnote, in case the old rule suits us better than the new. So you go and just kind of help out and balance things just in case things don't go the way that we would like them to go for Scotland's sake. Okay? And so we end Act 2 with Macbeth being crowned king. And remember, a lot of action stuff happens off stage. And that's how they can get so much time and plot details in such a short amount of time, because they just, in a couple lines, they have him become king as opposed to drawn out massive scenes and chunks. So from here on out, Macbeth is king. We will see an enormous change and shift in Macbeth. I mean, the first act, he's the warrior, okay? And Lady Macbeth kind of slaps him around a little and says, this is what we're going to do. And in the second act, he's kind of hysterical the whole time. He talks himself out of it. Okay, that's at the end of Act 1. Act 2, he goes and does the deed. He comes back and he's all frantic in the blood and the paranoia and people are talking. He talks himself almost into getting, not really like he was going to confess, but giving away too much. And so now we're going to see a shift between the roles of Lady Macbeth and Macbeth, and how that plays out the rest of the way. Okay?